Bishop Campbell, and of course, Bishop Campbell, I think the end of the first segment, we got a little information from you, but what I'd like for you to do during the second segment is to take some time to talk about some of the challenges that you think that our young people are facing and how you would like to see some of these things resolved. And then Reverend Waller will have an opportunity, and then Pastor Walker, and we'll be able to sort of cover the 8 minutes of this particular segment.
Yes, sir. Dr. Haney, dealing with the organization that we have, Gentlemen and Not Gangsters, dealing with the juveniles that do come through the program, one thing that we do notice is that we have an economic dilemma. Not only that, we have an educational dilemma, and we have a personal dilemma. The economic dilemma is that mom and daddy might be incarcerated or have been incarcerated. It's hard for them to get a job and provide for their family with those felonies on their background. Juveniles are not able to have any employment because of their age, or they're just not jobs that's willing to give them a chance or to try them out. When we look at the economics, most in the black community, not many of them is making more than minimum wage because of the educational background of where they don't have a great education. When we look at a lot of schools in our black community, especially here in Nashville, their test scores are so much lower than schools that are outside of the demographic of where we live at in the poverty places in Nashville that we are. And the personal issue that I see is that because of the parents and what they are accustomed to, what they have been taught, what they have gone through in their lives, they're teaching their kids the same thing. So they're just prone to what they've been taught, what they see, their environment, and is causing a dilemma with our black males because they're becoming what their environment is. And I just believe if we had a better economical system for our black community with great educational background there to support them to be able to get their economical ways together, I think the personal problem with the parenting and the child would be totally different. But that's what we deal with a lot of times. We find that the parents are not as involved and engaged in their life as they should be. We care more for the kids than they do. They drop them off at the front door, they leave them. They don't come inside to see what the program is about. A lot of times they might not even drop them off. They give them a little bit of bus fare and tell them to get there the best way they can. So I think there's a big overall picture that we can't just key in on one point dealing with the dilemma with our young black males in America.
You know, Bishop Campbell, what I'd like to understand, and perhaps you might be able to give us some information in reference to this, do you think it would be cost effective for our governmental officials to provide our young men and women with some kind of employment instead of simply refusing to do anything in that direction? Do you think that would help us out?
It would help us greatly. You know, being in the faith-based community, we have a saying of what we say is the idle mind is the devil's workshop. And I believe that these young teenagers, our juveniles, had an opportunity of employment, that it would teach them leadership, teach them responsibility, give them a great reference, a great start in their life, to show them that you have to work for what you want and not go out and take it from somebody else or selling to destroy somebody else's life to be able to benefit your own pocket.
What about you, Brother Waller?
Dr. Haney, what I know about the youth and people as a whole in our community, it's a trap. And what happens when a trap is set for you, you don't see the trap. And once you're captured into the trap, such as I was, I didn't even know I was in a trap because the things that I was trapped in was attractive. So we have to be mindful of what we do in front of others. People were doing things that had my attention, and it caused me to desire to be into what they were doing. And after doing so, and then got captured, it was like, this is a wonderful thing. I'm getting high, I'm getting money, I understand the language, but it's one thing that I didn't know, and that is that the trap was so powerful that once you get in it, there's an enemy, and you have to do his will. And I was that person that came to my senses, as the Word of God says, after you come to your senses and escape the snare, the trap of the devil, having been taken captive by him to do his will. So once a person is trapped, they're going to do his will. Now, what we have to do is bring forth great information that's so powerful that they would miss the trap. Now, after I was released from the bondage that I was in, I was told to go back to my community, in which I had made so effective in the unrighteous path that people followed me, admired what I was doing, but I was in a trap. So I called so many people to be in the trap with me, and he's sending me right back out there to get the people that's still out there out of the trap. And that's my responsibility. And I've written a book that's entitled Still High, one of the greatest books that I think that could help our communities and get people back into the swing of what we really need. And that's my desire, and that's why I'm out in the streets. New